One solution.
One solution.
One solution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Intifada.
Intifada.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
Occupation no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Israel is still the state.
Israel is terror state.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
People united will never be defeated. People
United will
Ya
never
Basharat.
be defeated.
People united will never be defeated. People united will never be defeated. People united
Will never be defeated.
one solution.
One solution.
One solution.
One solution.
One solution.
One solution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Revolution.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Palestine will never die.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Netanyahu, you will see.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
There is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
اهلا بشعب اليمن. انتفاضة revolution.
Intifada revolution.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
Viva, viva Palestina.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Israel may have their lobbies who will save them from any further instruction or further actions, but every complicit party in this genocide will know that he will be the next. He will be the next one who will be standing here at the ICJ, who has to answer his role about what he did for this genocide. And we already saw that the political view of the political parties of the Netherlands and Europe has been changing from now, before saying what the court will say. And we saw also that some companies are starting to get rid of their connections with Israel, because now Israel is an entity which is being charged of genocide, which no one wants to his name.
But if the court rules against South Africa's wishes, basically, what will be the response of the people here?
That's something that I cannot grant, but at the same time, like, I cannot say what the people will feel, but at the same time, the people will be angry, the people will lose the hope again, and we will also be we didn't have a lot of hope in the international community because there has been
Going to start, I'm afraid. So sorry to thank you very much. We see now on the screen the court is in inside at the moment. The judges are gathering, so we will hear very soon what they have to say.
Okay, thanks so much, Steph Vassen there outside The Hague with the Palestinian supporters who are gathering there in large numbers. Well, we're going to go now to our diplomatic editor, James Bays, who is also at the court. And as we can see, we are only minutes away from hearing from those judges. Can you just outline for us exactly what is going to happen?
Yeah, I'm in the grounds of the court. In fact, I was just in the courthouse a moment ago. If you look that way, that end of the Peace Palace, that is the International Court of Justice. Just walked past some of the judges as they were preparing to get ready to enter the room. Now, we're told exactly what's going to happen in terms of the choreography, in terms of the order of what's going to happen. We're not being given any idea of what the court is actually going to decide. But what I'm told is that in the next few minutes, at the top of the hour, and we're told that the presiding judge likes to be punctual, so probably going to happen in 4 minutes, we'll see the judges come on to the stage of the court, and that will be the start of the proceedings. 17 judges took part in this decision that's going to be announced in the next few minutes. Actually, only 16 of those judges are here today. One of them was unable to attend the hearing, but that judge, I'm told it's a male judge, did take part in the decision, even though he's not there on the stage. The presiding judge is the one who's going to read the judgment. This is the president of the court, Joan Donoghue. She's an ex-State Department official of the United States. She's a US judge of the International Court of Justice, although she doesn't represent her country. She works for this international court at this stage. She's been on the court since 2010, and she was elected by her fellow judges in 2021 to be the president of the court. We're told she'll go through the context of what has happened, the background of the case. She'll speak for about, we think, 30 to maybe 40 minutes, and it's at the end that we'll hear what's called the operative paragraph, the decision of the court, whether it's taken the side of South Africa, which wants these provisional measures put in place, including South Africa's main demand that Israel is forced to cease its bombardment of Gaza, or whether the court has decided to take the view of Israel, which presented its case here in the court earlier on this month. Israel says that they're doing nothing wrong, they're only acting in self-defense. The court could take either of their positions, or the court could take a third position, which is adopting some of the things that South Africa wants, but not all of them, or the court in that third option could adopt its own measures. It could decide on other things that it wants to announce to the world. And remember, what you hear here from this court, which is the top court in the UN system, is legally binding on all 193 members of the United Nations. Having said that, this is a court. It doesn't have an army. It doesn't have any sort of forces it can deploy. So although it's legally binding, there are countries, and Israel is one in the past, 2004, when the court ruled on Israel's wall it built across Palestinian territory. Israel defied the court then. Israel could defy it again now. The enforcement should come in the UN system, the way the UN Charter is written, from the UN Security Council. Of course, you know that the UN Security Council has been very divided on this issue, and 3 times just one country, one permanent member, the United States, has used its veto to block a ceasefire. If, still a very, very big if, the court takes the South African side and introduces the measures South Africa wants, that would put the US in a very, very difficult position. President Biden in a very difficult position with regard to what he's going to do now, because he would, if he went ahead in the Security Council, and almost certainly if the court rules in South Africa's favour, someone will bring this back to the Security Council, he would not only be casting a veto, he would be defying this court, which is the top court in the UN system. Now, a few moments ago, I heard the clock bell chime, meaning it is now 1 o'clock. We're told this judge is punctual, so any minute, I think, Tom, we're going to see the judges. 16 of the 17 who are actually present are going to come into the courtroom, and that'll be the start of this proceeding, which we think will go on between 30 to 40 minutes. I did ask the question of one of the court clerks, how easy is this going to be for all of us to understand? Because this is a legal decision coming from this court, not the final one, but an interim ruling. And I'm told that the presiding judge is very, very keen that the language she uses, given the enormity of the situation and the interest of people around the world, is going to be accessible. They're going to use accessible language. So I hope you and me following this and everyone else watching this is going to be able to understand the words of the judge and exactly what the judges have decided on this occasion. Again, let me though stress the point that you'll hear a preamble about the whole of the case and how the court sees the case, and then at the end of her speech, of the presiding judge, Joan Donahue, you'll hear what the court has decided.
Well, James, as you've been speaking, we have been watching a live shot from inside the court where we can see they are still preparing for that judgment to be made. We've heard over the last few hours from our correspondents and guests right around the world that have got a stake in what decision is made or announced this afternoon. But can you just give us a little bit of context here? Just how important is this?
I think it's very, very important indeed. What is interesting is that this is the International Court of Justice, the top court in the UN system, which traditionally, throughout its history, since the UN was created, mainly dealt with things that were pretty boring, important but boring. Things like breaches of treaties, border disputes between countries, not normally the wars and conflicts. That wasn't really something this court has dealt with. But when I'm talking about breaches of treaties, that's why in the last couple of years this court has been used for issues of conflict, and that's because of the Genocide Convention. It was a pretty landmark decision to take Myanmar to court for breaching the Genocide Convention, and that happened, and provisional measures, action was taken by the court in that case, and again with regard to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So those two precedents are there before this court, and that's why this court is dealing with issues that many would think are more the area of the other court, because remember there are two international courts that exist here in what's known as the International City of Justice, The Hague. The other is the International Criminal Court. The International Court of Justice deals with countries, with member states of the UN. The International Criminal Court, that's the one that deals with individuals. So remember there's a case out, an arrest warrant out for Vladimir Putin with regard to the war in Ukraine from the International Criminal Court.
Okay, James.
I think it's interesting if this court still a big...
Yeah, James, we're going to have to interrupt you there because the judges have just taken their seats. We're going to take you to inside the International Court of Justice in The Hague, where the judges are about to read out their preliminary verdict over this case brought by South Africa. Let's listen in.
And punishment of the crime of genocide in the Gaza Strip, South Africa versus Israel. Judge Robinson, who duly participated in both the deliberation and the final vote, is, for reasons made known to me, unable to take his seat on the bench today. I would like to welcome the eminent representatives of the Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel who are in the Great Hall of Justice today. In particular, I recognize the presence of Her Excellency, Ms. Naledi Pandor, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa. I recall that on 29 December 2023, South Africa filed in the registry of the court an application instituting proceedings against Israel concerning alleged violations in the Gaza Strip of obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, to which I shall refer as the Genocide Convention or the Convention. The application of South Africa contained a request for the indication of provisional measures submitted with reference to Article 41 of the statute and to Articles 73, 74, and 75 of the Rules of Court. In accordance with the usual practice, I shall not read the introductory paragraphs of the order which set out the procedural history of the case. I shall also omit or summarize some other paragraphs. I shall therefore begin the reading of the order at paragraph 13. In the order, the court begins by recalling the immediate context in which the present case came before it. It observes that on 7 October 2023, Hamas and other armed groups present in the Gaza Strip carried out an attack in Israel, killing more than 1,200 persons, injuring thousands, and abducting some 240 people, many of whom continue to be held hostage. Following this attack, Israel launched a large-scale military operation in Gaza by land, air, and sea, which is causing massive civilian casualties, extensive destruction of civilian infrastructure, and the displacement of the overwhelming majority of the population in Gaza. The court is acutely aware of the extent of the human tragedy that is unfolding in the region and is deeply concerned about the continuing loss of life and human suffering. The ongoing conflict in Gaza has been addressed in the framework of several organs and specialized agencies of the United Nations. In particular, reservations have been adopted by the General Assembly and the Security Council of the United Nations, referring to many aspects of the conflict. The scope of the present case submitted to the court, however, is limited, as South Africa has instituted these proceedings under the Genocide Convention. The court then turns to the conditions needed to be fulfilled in order for it to indicate provisional measures. With respect to the question of prima facie jurisdiction, the court observes that it may indicate provisional measures only if the provisions relied on by the applicant appear prima facie to afford a basis on which its jurisdiction could be founded, but it need not satisfy itself in a definitive manner that it has jurisdiction as regards the merits of the case. In the present case, South Africa seeks to found the jurisdiction of the court on Article 36, Paragraph 1 of the Statute of the Court and on Article 9 of the Genocide Convention. The court must therefore first determine whether those provisions prima facie confer upon it jurisdiction to rule on the merits of the case, enabling it, if the other necessary conditions are fulfilled, to indicate provisional measures. Article 9 of the Genocide Convention provides, I quote, disputes between the contracting parties relating to the interpretation, application, or fulfillment of the present convention, including those relating to the responsibility of a state for genocide or for any of the other acts enumerated in Article 3, shall be submitted to the International Court of Justice at the request of any of the parties to the dispute. End of quote. South Africa and Israel are both parties to the Genocide Convention, and neither of them has entered a reservation to Article 9 or any other provision of the Convention. The court then recalls that Article 9 of the Genocide Convention makes its jurisdiction conditional on the existence of a dispute relating to the interpretation, application, or fulfillment of the Convention. A dispute is a disagreement on a point of law or fact, a conflict of legal views or of interests between parties. In order for a dispute to exist, it must be shown that the claim of one party is positively opposed by the other. The two sides must hold clearly opposite views concerning the question of the performance or non-performance of certain international obligations. To determine whether a dispute exists in the present case, the court cannot limit itself to noting that one of the parties maintains the convention applies while the other denies it. Since South Africa has invoked as a basis for the court's jurisdiction the compromissory clause of the Genocide Convention, the court must also ascertain at the present stage of the proceedings whether it appears that the acts and omissions complained of by the applicant are capable of falling within the scope of that convention, ratio materiae. The court recalls that for purposes of deciding whether a dispute existed between the parties at the time of the filing of the application, it takes into account, in particular, any statements or documents exchanged between the parties, as well as any exchanges made in multilateral settings. In so doing, it pays special attention to the author of the statement or document, its intended or actual addressee, and its content. The existence of a dispute is a matter for objective determination by the court. It is a matter of substance, not a question of form or procedure. The court notes that South Africa issued public statements in various multilateral and bilateral settings in which it expressed its view that, in light of the nature, scope, and extent of Israel's military operations in Gaza, Israel's actions amounted to violations of its obligations under the Genocide Convention. For instance, at the resumed 10th Emergency Special Session of the United Nations General Assembly on 12 December 2023, at which Israel was represented, the South African representative to the United Nations stated that, I quote, "The events of the past 6 weeks in Gaza have illustrated that Israel is acting contrary to its obligations in terms of the Genocide Convention." End of quote. South Africa recalled this statement in its note verbal of 21 December 2023 to the Embassy of Israel in Pretoria. The court notes that Israel dismissed any accusation of genocide in the context of the conflict in Gaza in a document published by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs on 6 December 2023, which was subsequently updated and reproduced on the website of the Israel Defense Forces on 15 December 2023 under the title, "The War Against Hamas, Answering Your Most Pressing Questions," stating that, I quote, "The accusation of genocide against Israel is not only wholly unfounded as a matter of fact and law, it is morally repugnant," end of quote. In the document, Israel also stated that, I quote, "The accusation of genocide is not just legally and factually incoherent, it is obscene, and that there was no valid basis in fact or law for the outrageous charge of genocide," end of quote. In light of the foregoing, the court considers that the parties appear to hold clearly opposite views as to whether certain acts or omissions allegedly committed by Israel in Gaza amount to violations by the latter of its obligations under the Genocide Convention. The court finds that the aforementioned elements are sufficient at this stage to establish prima facie the existence of a dispute between the parties relating to the interpretation, application, or fulfillment of the Genocide Convention. As to whether the acts and omissions complained of by the applicant appear to be capable of falling within the provisions of the Genocide Convention, the court recalls that South Africa considers Israel to be responsible for committing genocide in Gaza and for failing to prevent and punish genocidal acts. South Africa contends that Israel has also violated other obligations under the Genocide Convention, including those concerning conspiracy to commit genocide, direct and public incitement to genocide, attempted genocide, and complicity in genocide. At the present stage of the proceedings, the court is not required to ascertain whether any violations of Israel's obligations under the Genocide Convention have occurred. Such a finding could only be made by the court at the stage of the examination of the merits of the present case. At the stage of making an order on the request for an indication of provisional measures, the court's task is to establish whether the acts and omissions complained of by the applicant appear to be capable of falling within the provisions of the Genocide Convention. In the court's view, at least some of the acts and omissions alleged by South Africa to have been committed by Israel in Gaza appear to be capable of falling within the provisions of the Convention. In light of the following, the court concludes that, prima facie, it has jurisdiction pursuant to Article 9 of the Convention to entertain the case. Given this conclusion, the court considers that it cannot accede to Israel's request that the case be removed from the general list. The court turns next to the question of standing of South Africa. Court notes that the respondent did not challenge the standing of the applicant in the present proceedings. In the case concerning application of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, the Gambia v. Myanmar, where Article 9 of the Genocide was suppression and punishment of genocide, by committing themselves to fulfilling the obligations contained in the Convention. Such common interest implies that the obligations in question are owed by any state party to all the other state parties to the relevant convention. They are obligations erga omnes partes.
Palestine! Palestine!
under the Genocide Convention entails that any state party, without distinction, is entitled to invoke the responsibility of another state party for an alleged breach of its obligations erga omnes partes. Accordingly, the court found that any state party to the Genocide Convention may invoke the responsibility of another state party, including through the institution of proceedings before the court, with a view to determining the alleged failure to comply with its obligations erga omnes partes under the Convention and to bringing the failure to the end. The court concludes prima facie that South Africa has standing to submit to it the dispute with Israel concerning alleged violations of obligations under the Genocide Convention. The court then turns to the question of the rights whose protection is sought and the link between such rights and the measures requested. It recalls that its power to indicate provisional measures under Article 41 of the statute has as its object the preservation of the respective rights claimed by the parties in a case, pending its decision on the merits thereof. It follows that the court must be concerned to preserve by such measures the rights which may subsequently be adjudged by it to belong to either party. Therefore, the court may exercise this power only if it is satisfied that the rights asserted by the party requesting such measures are at least plausible. At this stage of the proceedings, however, the court is not called upon to determine definitively whether the rights which South Africa wishes to seek protected exist. It need only decide whether the rights claimed by South Africa and for which it seeks protection are plausible. Moreover, a link must exist between the rights whose protection is sought and the provisional measures being requested. The court recalls that in accordance with Article 1 of the Convention, all states parties thereto have undertaken to prevent and to punish the crime of genocide. Article 2 provides that, I quote, genocide means any of the following acts committed with an intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group as such. A, killing members of the group. B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. E, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. End of quote. Pursuant to Article 3 of the Genocide Convention, the following acts are also prohibited by the Convention: conspiracy to commit genocide, direct and public incitement to commit genocide, attempt to commit genocide, and complicity in genocide. The provisions of the Convention are intended to protect the members of a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group from acts of genocide or any other punishable acts enumerated in Article 3. The court considers that there is a correlation between the rights of members of groups protected under the Genocide Convention, the obligations incumbent on state parties thereto, and the right of any state party to seek compliance therewith by another state party. As the court has stated in other cases, in order for acts to fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, the intent must be to destroy at least a substantial part of a particular group. This is demanded by the very nature of the crime of genocide, since the object and purpose of the Convention as a whole is to prevent the intentional destruction of groups. The part targeted must be significant enough to have an impact on the group as a whole. The Palestinians appear to constitute a distinct national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, and hence a protected group within the meaning of Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. The court observes that, according to United Nations sources, the Palestinian population in the Gaza Strip comprises over 2 million people. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip form a substantial part of the protected group. The court notes that the military operation being conducted by Israel following the attack of 7 October 2023 has resulted in a large number of deaths and injuries, as well as massive destruction of homes, the forcible displacement of the vast majority of the population, and extensive damage to civilian infrastructure. While figures relating to the Gaza Strip cannot be independently verified, recent information indicates that 25,700 Palestinians have been killed, over 63,000 injuries have been reported, over 360 housing units have been destroyed or partially damaged, and approximately 1.7 million persons have been internally displaced. The court takes note in this regard of the statement by the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, Mr. Martin Griffiths, on 5 January 2024. I quote, "Gaza has become a place of death and despair. Families are sleeping in the open as temperatures plummet. Areas where civilians were told to relocate for their safety have come under bombardment. Medical facilities are under relentless attack. A public health disaster is unfolding. Gaza has simply become uninhabitable. Its people are witnessing daily threats to their very existence while the world watches on." End of quote. Following a mission to North Gaza, the World Health Organization reported that as of 21 December 2023, I quote, "an unprecedented 93% of the population of Gaza is facing crisis levels of hunger with insufficient food and high levels of malnutrition." End of quote. The court further notes the statement issued by the Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, or UNRWA, Mr. Philippe Lazzarini, on 13 January 2024. I quote, "It's been 100 days since the devastating war started, killing and displacing people in Gaza following the horrific attacks that Hamas and other groups carried out against people in Israel. It's been 100 days of ordeal and anxiety for hostages and their families. In the past 100 days, sustained bombardment across the Gaza Strip caused the massive displacement of a population that is in a state of flux, constantly uprooted and forced to leave overnight, only to move to places which are just as unsafe. This war affected more than 2 million people, the entire population of Gaza. Many will carry lifelong scars, both physical and psychological. The vast majority, including children, are deeply traumatized. Overcrowded and unsanitary UNRWA shelters have become home to more than 1.4 million people. They lack everything, from food to hygiene to privacy. People live in inhumane conditions where diseases are spreading, including among children. They live through the unlivable with the clock ticking fast towards famine. The plight of children in Gaza is especially heartbreaking. An entire generation of children is traumatically. It is an entire nation out there that is responsible. It is not true, this rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved. It is absolutely not true. They could have risen up. They could have fought against that evil regime which took over Gaza in a coup d'etat. But we are at war. We are at war. We are at war. We are defending our homes. We are protecting our homes. That's the truth. And when a nation protects its home, it fights. And we will fight until we break their backbone. End of quote. On 13 October 2023, Mr. Israel Katz, then Minister of Energy and Infrastructure of Israel, stated on X, formerly Twitter, I quote, "We will fight the terrorist organization Hamas and destroy it. All the civilian population in Gaza is ordered to leave immediately. We will win. They will not receive a drop of water or a single battery until they leave the world." End of quote. The court also takes note of a press release of 16 November 2023, issued by 37 special rapporteurs, independent experts, and members of working groups part of the special procedures of the United Nations Human Rights Council, in which they voiced alarm over, I quote, "discernibly genocidal and dehumanizing rhetoric coming from senior Israeli government officials." End of quote. In addition, on 27 October 2023, the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination observed that it was highly concerned about the sharp increase in racist hate speech and dehumanization directed at Palestinians since 7 October. In the court's view, the aforementioned facts and circumstances are sufficient to conclude that at least some of the rights claimed by South Africa and for which it is seeking protection are plausible. This is the case with respect to the right of Palestinians in Gaza to be protected from acts of genocide and related prohibited acts identified in Article 3, and the right of South Africa to seek Israel's compliance with the latter's obligations under the Convention. The court then turns to the condition of the link between the plausible rights claimed by South Africa and the provisional measures requested. It considers that by their very nature, at least some of the provisional measures sought by South Africa are aimed at preserving the plausible rights it asserts on the basis of the Genocide Convention in the present case, namely, the right of the Palestinians in Gaza to be protected from acts of genocide and related prohibited acts mentioned in Article 3, and the right of South Africa to seek Israel's compliance with the latter's obligations under the Convention. Therefore, a link exists between the rights claimed by South Africa that the court has found to be plausible and at least some of the provisional measures requested. The court turns next to the question of risk of irreparable prejudice and urgency. It notes that, pursuant to Article 41 of its statute, it has the power to indicate provisional measures when irreparable prejudice could be caused to rights which are the subject of judicial proceedings, or when the alleged disregard of such rights might entail irreparable consequences. However, the power of the court to indicate provisional measures will only be exercised if there's urgency in the sense that there is a real and imminent risk that irreparable prejudice will be caused to the rights claimed before the court gives its final decisions. The condition of urgency is met when the acts susceptible of causing irreparable prejudice can occur at any moment before the court makes the final decision in the case. The court must therefore consider whether such a risk exists at this stage of the proceedings. The court is not called upon for purposes of its decision on the request for the indication of provisional measures to establish the existence of breaches of obligations under the Genocide Convention, but to determine whether the circumstances require the indication of provisional measures for the protection of rights under that instrument. As already noted, the court cannot at this stage make definitive findings of fact, and the right of each party to submit arguments with respect to the merits remains unaffected by the court's decision on the request for the indication of provisional measures. The court recalls that, as underlined in General Assembly Resolution 96-1 of 11 December 1946, I quote, "Genocide is a denial of the right of existence."
Free Palestina! We are all Palestina!
Shocks the conscience of mankind, results in great losses to humanity in the form of cultural and other contributions represented by these human groups, and is contrary to moral law and to the spirit and aims of the United Nations. End of quote. In view of the fundamental values sought to be protected by the Genocide Convention, the court considers that the plausible rights in question in this proceeding, namely, the right of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip to be protected from acts of genocide and related prohibited acts identified in Article 3 of the Genocide Convention, and the right of South Africa to seek Israel's compliance with the latter's obligation under the Convention, are of such a nature that prejudice to them is capable of causing irreparable harm. During the ongoing conflict, senior United Nations officials have repeatedly called attention to the risk of further deterioration of conditions in the Gaza Strip. The court takes note, for instance, of the letter dated 6 December 2023, whereby the Secretary General of the United Nations brought the following information to the attention of the Security Council. I quote, "The healthcare system in Gaza is collapsing. Nowhere is safe in Gaza. Amid constant bombarding by the Israel Defense Forces and without shelter or the essentials to survive, I expect public order to completely break down soon due to the desperate conditions rendering even limited humanitarian assistance impossible. An even worse situation could unfold, including epidemic diseases and increased pressure for mass displacement into neighboring countries. We are facing a severe risk of collapse of the humanitarian system. The situation is fast deteriorating into a catastrophe with potentially irreversible implications for Palestinians as a whole and for peace and security in the region. Such an outcome must be avoided at all costs." End of quote. On 5 January 2024, the Secretary General wrote again to the Security Council, providing an update on the situation in the Gaza Strip and observing that, I quote, "Sadly, devastating levels of death and destruction continue." End of quote. The court also takes note of the 17 January 2024 statement issued by the UNRWA Commissioner General upon return from his 4th visit to the Gaza Strip since the beginning of the current conflict in Gaza. I quote, "Every time I visit Gaza, I witness how people have sunk further into despair, with the struggle for survival consuming every hour." End of quote. The court considers that the civilian population in the Gaza Strip remains extremely vulnerable. It recalls that the military operation conducted by Israel after 7 October 2023 has resulted inter alia in tens of thousands of deaths and injuries and the destruction of homes, schools, medical facilities, and other vital infrastructure, as well as displacement on a massive scale. The court notes that the operation is ongoing and that the Prime Minister of Israel announced on 18 January 2024 that the war, I quote, "will take many more long months." End of quote. At present, many Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have no access to the most basic foodstuffs, potable water, electricity, essential medicines, or heating. The World Health Organization has estimated that 15% of the women giving birth in Gaza Strip are likely to experience complications and indicates that maternal and newborn death rates are expected to increase due to the lack of access to medical care. In these circumstances, the court considers that the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is at serious risk of deteriorating further before the court renders its final judgment. The court recalls Israel's statement that it has taken certain steps to address and alleviate the conditions faced by the population in the Gaza Strip. The court further notes that the Attorney General of Israel recently stated that a call for intentional harm to civilians may amount to a criminal offense, including that of incitement, and that several such cases are being examined by Israeli law enforcement authorities. While such steps are to be encouraged, they are insufficient to remove the risk that irreparable prejudice will be caused before the court issues its final decision in the case. In light of the foregoing, the court considers that there is urgency in the sense that there is a real and imminent risk that irreparable prejudice will be caused to the rights found by the court to be plausible before it gives its final decision. The court concludes, on the basis of the aforementioned considerations, that the conditions required by its statute for it to indicate provisional measures are met. It is therefore necessary, pending its final decision, for the court to indicate certain measures in order to protect the rights claimed by South Africa that the court has found to be plausible. The court recalls that it has the power under its statute, when a request for provisional measures has been made, to indicate measures that are in whole or in part other than those requested. In the present case, having considered the terms of the provisional measures requested by South Africa and the terms of the provisional measures, the court finds that the measures indicated need not be identical to those requested. The court considers that, with regard to the present situation, Israel must, in accordance with its obligations under the Genocide Convention, in relation to Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. The court recalls that these acts fall within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention when they are committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part the group as such. The court further considers that Israel must ensure with immediate effect that its military forces do not commit any of the aforementioned acts. The court is also of the view that Israel must take measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to the members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. The court further considers that Israel must take immediate and effective measures to enable the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Genocide Convention against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. Regarding the provisional measure requested by South Africa that Israel must submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to the order, the court recalls that it has the power, reflected in Article 78 of the Rules of Court, to request the parties to provide information on any matter connected with the implementation of any provisional measures it has indicated. In view of the specific provisional measures it has decided to indicate, the court considers that Israel must submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of this order. The report so provided shall then be communicated to South Africa, which shall be given the opportunity to submit to the court its comments thereon. The court recalls that its orders on provisional measures under Article 41 of the statute have binding effect and thus create international legal obligations for any party to whom the provisional measures are addressed. The court reaffirms that the decision given in the present proceedings in no way prejudges the question of the jurisdiction of the court to deal with the merits of the case or any questions related to the admissibility of the application or to the merits themselves. It leaves unaffected the right of the governments of the Republic of South Africa and the State of Israel to submit arguments in respect of these questions. The order then states that the court deems it necessary to emphasize that all parties to the conflict in the Gaza Strip are bound by international humanitarian law. It is gravely concerned about the fate of the hostages abducted during the attack in Israel on 7 October 2023 and held since then by Hamas and other armed groups, and calls for their immediate and unconditional release. I shall now read out the operative part of the order. For these reasons, the court indicates the following provisional measures. 1. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention, in particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gavordian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Youssef, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall ensure with immediate effect that its military does not commit any acts described in point 1 above. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges Ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde. By 16 votes to 1, the State of Israel shall take immediate and effective measures to ensure the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life faced by Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judges Ad hoc Barak, Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence related to allegations of acts within the scope of Article 2 and Article 3 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide against members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall submit a report to the court on all measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of the order. In favor, President Donahue, Vice President Gevorgian, Judges Tomka, Abraham, Benuna, Yusuf, Shway, Bandari, Robinson, Salam, Iwasawa, Nolte, Charlesworth, Brandt, Judge Ad hoc Moseneke. Against, Judge Sebatinde, Judge Ad hoc Barak. I shall now call upon the registrar to read the operative part of the order in French.
Par ces motifs, la Cour.
So there you have the presiding judge, Joan Donahue, of the United States, sizing up the provisional measures that the court has agreed, the court of 17 members. No ceasefire is the headline amongst those, but humanitarian assistance is required. Basically, the World Court on Friday ordering Israel to take all measures within its power to prevent acts of genocide in Gaza. The court said that Israel must ensure its forces do not commit genocide and take measures to improve, as I say, the humanitarian situation. Also talked about taking measures to prevent and punish those responsible for incitement, and orders Israel to report to the court within 1 month and ensuring the preservation of evidence and to prevent destruction of evidence. Let's go to our diplomatic editor, James Bays, who's standing by right now. James, so we were expecting, nobody really knew what to expect, but what's come out of it is there is no ceasefire, but there has been a push for further humanitarian assistance.
Yeah, Nick, I think it was an interesting ruling because if you listen there to the judges, they agreed, I think, nearly as we went through their deliberations and how they thought about this, they agreed with most of South Africa's arguments. They agreed that they had jurisdiction in this case. They believed that South Africa had standing in the case and could bring the case. They believed that certainly some of the things that South Africa has alleged are certainly taking place, that actions that fall within the definitions of the Genocide Convention. You heard a whole definition in that decision announced by the presiding judge of genocide, that all fit. But where South Africa will be unhappy, I think, is that the final operative paragraph, the rulings, the provisional measures that they've announced are not the specific ones that South Africa asked for. South Africa asked for very, very clear, deliverable things like an immediate ceasefire. Instead, what the court has actually ordered are not things that are not quite so clear. It is ordered that Israel needs to take every measure in its power to prevent things that could lead to genocide. Now, I think it's for legal scholars now to look at this, because those include prevent killings of people within the protected group. Well, the protected group is Palestinians. So if you're going to prevent killings of Palestinians in Gaza, and for that matter, probably in the West Bank, how can that happen when Israel continues its indiscriminate bombardment on the ground in Gaza? There were some specifics that Israel must do. Yes, more humanitarian aid, but also Israel's got to appear again before this court with a report in 1 month's time to deal with the issues that the court has raised. I think it was interesting, some of the things that they pointed to in their deliberations. They pointed very specifically to some of the statements that have been made by senior UN officials showing the urgency of the situation. The court decided to have provisional measures because they said the situation was deteriorating. There was the risk of mass famine, there was the risk of mass displacement of people from Gaza. They also referred not only to the statements of senior UN officials, but very specifically to the statements of senior Israelis, including that statement, that controversial statement that came from the Minister of Defense in October, Yoav Gallant, who described Palestinians, all Palestinians it seemed at the time, as human animals. The statements that were made by the President of Israel, Isaac Herzog, those were read out in the court as an example of Israel's dehumanizing language. Israel will not be happy with this. They wanted this thrown out. But on the other hand, I don't think South Africa will be happy either, because the ruling does not have the specific deliverable things that South Africa wanted that would have brought an end to the bombardment. They say that Israel must take every measure to avoid acts that could lead to genocide. But what is that in terms of practicality on the ground, specifics? How would it change Israel's conduct of this war that many observers believe has involved indiscriminate bombardment and mass punishment of the people of Gaza?
Right, and one now wonders about international diplomacy and what impact these provisional measures will have on the point of view of President Joe Biden and the US administration.
Yeah, I think the US administration, how are they going to respond to this in Washington? Will they accept this ruling of the court? In some ways, perhaps, given that there's nothing specific in here about an immediate ceasefire, perhaps this will help the Biden administration, because, as we know, behind the scenes, the US president has been urging the Israelis to stop the scale of their bombardment and to tone down some of their military operations and to scale up the humanitarian aid, all of things that have been ignored by Israel until this point. So I suspect the Biden administration may well, given the way this has gone, be somewhat happy with this, but we'll have to see what comes out of Washington in the coming hours. And of course, it's not just the US. When you look at the international landscape, most of the international community is now believing in the idea that there should be an immediate ceasefire. Yes, there are some European countries too that support Israel's right to self-defense. The notable ones among those are the UK and Germany, who keep talking rather confusing language about the need for a sustainable ceasefire. What do they mean by that? When you get into the details, they mean a ceasefire that can be sustained once Hamas has been defeated. So in effect, it's no different from the US, or for that matter, the Israeli position.
All right, James, leave it there for the moment. James Bay's at The Hague there. Let's cross to the heart of it all, to southern Gaza, to Rafah. Our correspondent, Hani Mahmoud, joins us from there. Hani, people were waiting in anticipation for these rulings, not the clear-cut call for a ceasefire that South Africa and Palestinians and their supporters wanted.
Great deal of frustration and resentment, because the one element that every single Palestinians across the Gaza Strip, including children, were waiting for, which is an end to this madness, an end to cessation to all hostilities, the ongoing intense bombing. They were waiting for that statement. One statement could have relieved an entire population, largely displaced and more profoundly traumatized as the bombing continued across the Gaza Strip. To the time the statement was read, there was still bombing going on in the city of Khan Yunis and the northern part. That one element that everybody waited for. People have been saying that for weeks now. There's ongoing systematic killing of the people in Gaza. The UN warned of famine. We have a deputy general of the United Nations warned of systematic destruction of civic institutions and this systematic destruction of every means of life, turning Gaza into an uninhabitable place and forcing people into expulsion. People were waiting that this is continuing because of the mass bombing that is being relentless and very destructive and has turned Gaza into a death camp so far. That one line, despite all the positive rulings, that they just wanted this to end because people are tired, they're exhausted, they want to go back to their homes, they want to see remaining family members, they want to go back to normal life. But the statement did not give them that, and that's why they're continuing to be restless.
All right, Hani, thanks for that. Hani Mahmoud in southern Gaza. Let's discuss this with our political analyst, Moran Bashar. So, Moran, it's somewhat complex and opaque, isn't it? Israel must take all measures to stop killing members of the group, Palestinians, or harming them, and stop imposing measures to jeopardize births and so forth. I mean, if they're not going to do that, then effectively it's going to be business as usual, isn't it?
Well, yes, but it wasn't going to do that any which way, Nick. No. Israel wasn't going to abide by the ICJ ruling any which way, and it said that from the outset. So that's why, for me, although there's discussion to be had about the provisional measures and why the court embraced its own measures rather than those of South Africa, but for me, this is a court of justice. And the fact that they went for almost 36 minutes making the case, they basically made the case why, first of all, there is a dispute between South Africa and Israel, that they accept that South Africa has a right to take this up with the ICJ. And second, and that's the most important for me, headline today, that the ICJ has jurisdiction in the case of Gaza. That means it suspects there is genocide taking place in Gaza. It will take up the case. And the way the Judge Donahue, the head of the court, went on and on and on, making the case, basically, she sounded like a South African prosecutor, basically saying, look, here is the circumstance, here's what Israel has done, here what Israel is doing, here is what various United Nations agencies heads have said. Griffith, Under Secretary General, the WHO, and so on and so forth. And then going on and showing intent. Galan, Hexer, Katz, and so on and so forth. So they basically were making the case that there is every evidence that could lead to the fact that Israel is planning a genocide in Gaza. Right? And that then Israel must refrain from doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. asked first and foremost for a ceasefire. The world is asking for a ceasefire. But the principle here for a court of justice to say, such as the ICJ, and although the bar is not as high as when they will in fact discuss this down the road and judge whether Israel is or is not in fact carrying genocide, the fact that they accepted the case, the fact that they are putting Israel in notice, and the fact that they want reports from Israel moving forward and expect certain results from Israel, I think that's in a big way, is a big win for South Africa.
Okay, so there's that, but they did not apply the South African measures that South Africa. Why that discrepancy?
I don't know what goes in their minds, but I would prefer that this time we meeting our way and saying, you know, in some Chinese system. If they've done it Bosnia, they suggested a whole number of things that Israel shouldn't do, especially on the fact that they shouldn't take any acts that contravene the Genocide Convention, that they should allow for humanitarian aid, that they should maintain the records of decision-making to show intent and so on. I am saddened by the fact that there is no ceasefire, but then I am not saddened because I know Israel was not going to carry on with that ceasefire. We had this conversation last night about the political and strategic implications for this. We know for the past 2 weeks that Israel was not going to abide by any ceasefire. The fact here is that the United States now needs to look on the law. The UK, Germany, and other countries who supported Israel the last 3 months unconditionally need to look in the law and reconsider the decision, because the court of the land, the court of the world, the court of the United Nations has taken up the case of genocide against Israel for its actions the past 3 months. That the principle of it, that it would take on the case and then it would put Israel on notice and demand of it a number of things. I think legally and morally, for me, it's morally speaking, it sends a strong message to Israel and its backers that they need to seize and desist, even if the court prevents them. So now it's going to be upon the court of public opinion as it is, especially those in the West. And I think there's definitely a non-public opinion in the United States, the UK, and other parts of Western Europe, the backers of Israel, to put pressure on the governments, presumably saying that they consider human rights important, and they put human rights at the center of their foreign policy, and they stand for universal values. These Western powers need now once again to look in the mirror and take some tough decisions. Because now there's going to be a mounting pressure, not only from their public opinion. See, because this case is about the North and the South. This case is about South Africa being part of the global, so-called global South, taking up a case whereby supported by the global North, except on the West, in support of Israel, basically committing genocide against the Palestinian people. So I think if the Western world is not going to take measures now, based on the ruling today, themselves, driven by moral consideration as much as by narcissistic
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide! Gaza doesn't cry! Palestine will never die! Gaza don't cry! Palestine will never die! Free Palestine! We are all Palestine! We are all Palestine! Netanyahu, you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Palestine will never die. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. Occupation no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is a terrorist state. Israel is a terrorist state. From the river to the sea. Occupation river to the sea. 5, 6, 7, 8. Will be free. Israel is a terrorist state. Will be free. One solution. One solution. Revolution. Revolution. Intifada. Intifada. Intifada. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Palestine will never die. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. Stop the genocide. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. From the sea to the river. Palestine will live forever. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Free, free Palestina. Free, free Palestina.
to hear when exactly address you again. We're waiting to hear the exact time at which they will come out of the court to give a speech to you. Until that time, we are going to stay here. Today we heard no fucking ceasefire, so please.
No fucking ceasefire!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
What do we want?
Ceasefire!
What do we want it?
Now!
Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Gaza! ومن غزة طلع القرار! Free Gaza! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! Stop genocide! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The occupation has to go. Hey, hey! Free Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! يا انتفاضة يا انتصار! من غزة طلع القرار! من غزة طلع القرار! يا انتفاضة يا انتصار! يا انتفاضة يا انتصار! ومن غزة طلع القرار! ومن غزة طلع القرار! يا انتفاضة يا انتصار! يا انتفاضة يا انتصار! Palestine! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Palestine will never die! Palestine will never die! Palestine will never die! Palestine will never die! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! 1, 2, 3, 4! 1, 2, 3, 4! Occupation no more! Occupation no more! 5, 6, 7, 8! 5, 6, 7, 8! Israel is terrorist state! Israel is terrorist state! Israel is terrorist state! Israel is terrorist state! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
أبو عبيدة يا حبيبي.
Occupation no more! There is only one solution! There is only one solution! Intifada revolution! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Vandaag, na meer dan 25.000 doden, neemt de internationale gemeenschap voor de Israël een kleine stapje naar de goede richting. Het is niet wat wij wouden. Het is niet wat wij hebben gevraagd. Ze hebben niet gedaan wat ze moesten doen. Maar het was wel een stap in de goede richting. Vandaag is deze bezetting, zogenaamde Israël, voor de eerste keer bijna beschuldigd van een genocide. Deze entiteit, Israël, is nu exposed voor de hele wereld. De genocide die ze daar plegen in Gaza is nu bekend voor de ogen van de hele wereld en in de ogen van de internationale gemeenschap. Wij blijven doorgaan. Wij blijven demonstreren. Wij blijven straten opgaan. Totdat er een permanente staakt-het-vuren komt. Totdat deze onrechtmatige blokkade op Gazastrook, die al 16 jaar gaande is, opgeheven is. En deze kort, of deze rechtbank en deze uitspraak moet een goede waarschuwing zijn voor alle andere medeplichtigen aan deze genocide. Vandaag staat Israël hier en morgen is iedereen die medeplichtig is aan deze genocide moet hier gebracht worden. From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
will never let you die.
We will never let you die.
We will never let you die.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine.
En nu hebben wij een boodschap van iemand die uit Gaza komt.
أصدقائي إخوتي أخواتي شكرا Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Gaza!
Free, free Gaza.
Free, free Gaza!
Free, free Gaza.
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide.
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide.
أصدقائي إخوتي أخواتي أيها الشعب الهولندي يا سكان هذه المدينة الجميلة بعد أكثر من 112 يوما على الإبادة الجماعية والتطهير العرقي وجرائم الحرب اللامتناهية لقد ظنوا أنكم تعبتم وأنكم لن تخرجوا مجددا لقد ظنوا أنكم مللتم لأن حكومتكم لا تنصت لهذه الأصوات الحرة ومع كل ذلك أنتم هنا اليوم تقفون صفا قويا عنيدا بكل إصرار على الوقوف مع الحق في الوقت الذي تخلى وتراجع الكثير في هذا العالم تقفون اليوم وبالآلاف وبقوة أكبر لتقولوا لا لهذا الظلم والإجرام والإرهاب المنظم وفي كل مرة لا تستمع الحكومة تعلو أصواتكم أكثر هذه هي قوة الشعوب لن نتوقف حتى نصل لوقف إطلاق النار Cease fire now!
Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now! Cease fire now!
لن نتوقف حتى نصل إلى فلسطين حرة. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
ارفعوا أعلامكم عاليا كي يروهم اجعلوهم يشاهدون كم أنتم أقوياء وموحدون اجعلوهم يشاهدون ارفعوا أصواتكم كي يسمعوكم أصدقائي أقف أمامكم بقلب يملأه الأسى فكل يوم يجلب معه رعبا متجددا في فلسطين ليس فقط في غزة وفي الضفة الغربية أيضا وفي الشتات كل يوم هناك قتل جماعي وتهجير قسري وتدمير شامل لكل مناحي الحياة في غزة وأسبابها واعتقالات بأعداد كبيرة كل يوم نستمع لأخبار مرعبة من أهلنا الموجودين في غزة هناك أقف أمامكم اليوم بقلب يملأه الأسى على أحمد الذي قتل كل أفراد عائلة في قصف على خان يونس وأصيب وبترت قدميه وبقي أحمد مع أخوه الصغير عمر ذو العامين عمر وأحمد اليوم أصبحوا أيتام وهم واحدا من أعداد كبيرة في غزة ممن فقدوا كل أفراد عائلاتهم وبقوا أطفالا مصابين وأيتام وحدهم أحمد وعمر لا زالوا أحياء بعكس 10,000 طفل الذين قتلوا على يد إسرائيل بالإبادة الجماعية لذلك قولوا لهم أوقفوا الإبادة الجماعية أوقفوا الإبادة الجماعية قولوا لهم Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
Stop the genocide!
genocide!
Stop the genocide!
دعونا نقطع عهدا لأحمد وعمر ولكل ضحايا الإبادة الجماعية في غزة بأننا لن نرتاح ولو للحظة حتى يتم محاسبة قاتليهم وجلبهم إلى هذا المكان. نعم. Free Palestine! الآن يتم تجويع شعب كامل حيث تنتشر الأمراض المعدية بسبب الازدحام الشديد في مناطق اللجوء. شعب بأكمله يتم دفعه وتهجيره بعيد عن أرضه كل يوم. نعم، أقف أمامكم بقلب يملأه الأسى ولكني لا أقف اليوم بروح مهزومة. إن إرادة الشعب الفلسطيني غير قابلة للكسر فأمتنا هي أمة فدائية. نحن مدافعون عن الحرية، فدائيين. أتعلمون لماذا؟ لأن تاريخنا يلخص تاريخ الإنسانية، ولأن مستقبلنا مرتبط بمستقبل الإنسانية كلها. لهذا قامت جنوب أفريقيا مشكورة بتقديم لائحة اتهام ضد إسرائيل في محكمة العدل الدولية. لقد قامت جنوب أفريقيا برفع قضية هائلة وبوضع العالم والإنسانية أمام تحدي هائل وسؤال كبير: على أي جانب أنتم؟ هل أنتم في صف القانون الدولي اليوم أم في صف شريعة الغاب؟ هل تنظرون بجدية لكون أن كل البشر متساويين؟ إن الإجابة التي لم نحصل عليها اليوم بعد ستترك أثرا على الأجيال القادمة وسيصل صداها كل أرجاء العالم، لأنها ستكون أيضا ضد كل المتواطئين والمشاركون في هذه الإبادة الجماعية والوحشية الإسرائيلية، ومنهم الولايات المتحدة والمملكة المتحدة وحتى الحكومة الهولندية نفسها ومارك روتي شخصيا يجب أن يخضع للتحقيق في هذه المحكمة. هي نفس الدول والجماعات التي دعمت نظام الفصل العنصري في جنوب افريقيا لعقود من الزمن دون خجل، هي نفس الدول التي تدعم اليوم اسرائيل. اصدقائي، دعوني اقول لكم شيئا: ستكون الرحلة طويلة وطويلة جدا نحو الحرية، لانكم تعلمون وانا اعلم، وكما قال الخالد نيلسون مانديلا، ان عالما لا يكون به الفلسطينيون احرار هو عالم تكبله القيود. فهيا بنا نحطم هذه القيود، دعونا نحطم قيدنا ودعونا نرفع علمنا، نرفعه عاليا ولنقف سويا من كل الأعراق والديانات والخلفيات والألوان. تحدثوا بصوت واحد واحتضنوا ضميركم الأخلاقي. هذه البوصلة الأخلاقية هي التي ستحافظ على إنسانيتنا المشتركة. هذه البوصلة ستقودنا إلى فلسطين الحرة. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
أبو عبيدة يا أسد الأمة!
أبو عبيدة يا أسد الأمة!
My friends, my brothers, my sisters, the Dutch people, the residents of this beautiful city. 110 days after genocide, ethnic cleansing, and endless war crimes. They thought you were tired and that you would never go out again. They thought you were bored because your government does not listen to these free voices. Despite all that, you are here today, standing strong and stubborn with all your determination to stand with the truth all the time. When many in this world have abandoned and retreated us, you stand today in thousands and with greater strength to say no to this injustice, crime and organized terrorism. And every time the government doesn't listen, your voices get louder. This is the power of the people. We will not stop until we reach a ceasefire. Until we reach a free Palestine. Raise your flags high so they can see you. Make them see how strong and united we are. Raise your voices so they can hear you. My friends, I stand before you with a heart full of sorrow. Every day brings with it renewed terror in Palestine, not only in Gaza. Every day there is mass killing, mass displacement, and comprehensive destruction of all aspects of life, and its causes and arrests in large numbers. Every day we hear terrifying news from our people who are there. I stand before you with a heart full of sorrow for Ahmed, who his family members were all murdered in the bombing of Khan Yunis. He was injured, his feet were amputated, and he remained with his little brother, Ahmad, who is 2 years old. Ahmad and Ahmed have become orphans today, and they are one of a large number in Gaza. Those who have lost their family members were left alone with injured children and orphans. Ahmed and Omar are still alive, unlike the 10,000 children who were killed by Israel in this genocide. So tell them to stop the genocide. Let us make a promise to Ahmed and Omar and to all the victims of the genocide in Gaza that we will not rest, even for a moment, until their killers are held accountable and brought to justice. An entire population is starving, and infectious diseases are spreading due to overcrowding in refugee areas. An entire people is being pushed and displaced further and further from their land every day. Yes, I stand before you with a heart full of sorrow, but I do not stand today with a defeated spirit. The will of the Palestinian people cannot be broken. Our nation is a nation of freedom. Do you know why? Because our history summarizes the history of humanity. And our future is linked to the future of all of humanity. This is why South Africa graciously filed an indictment against Israel and the International Court of Justice. South Africa has filed a tremendous case and has placed the world and humanity before a tremendous challenge and a great question. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of international law, or are you on the side of humanity? Do you take the fact that humans are equal? The answer that we have not yet obtained will leave an impact on future generations and will resonate throughout the world, because it will also be against all the accomplices and participants in the Israeli genocide and brutality in the United States, the United Kingdom, and even the Dutch government, and Mark Rutte himself. Supported the apartheid regime in South Africa for decades. These are the same countries that support Israel today. My friends, let me tell you, it will be a long journey to freedom, because you know, I know, and as Nelson Mandela said, a world in which Palestinians are not free is a world without freedom. It is through us that we break these chains. Let us break our chains and let us raise our flag and raise it high. Let us stand together from all races, religions, backgrounds, and colors. Speak with one voice and embrace your moral compass. This will preserve our common humanity. The compass will lead us to a free Palestine. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Thank you all, and thank you all for standing here today.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
spreker is Mujahid van ICJ Nederland. Assalamu alaikum, welkom allemaal. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Ik wil jullie allen namens AGD Nederland welkom heten. Vandaag, op deze cruciale dag, 100 dagen, correctie, 75 jaar en 100 dagen na het begin van de meest beestachtige en barbaarse genocide op de Palestijnse bevolking, staan wij hier. Onze roep naar rechtvaardigheid is geen fluistering, maar een oorverdovende schreeuw die de hemel moet doordringen. Free, free Palestine!
Görmek lazım. Tabii ki ihtiyati tedbir kararları dedik ki bu çok önemli. Bu ihtiyati tedbir kararlarına bakıldığında özellikle burada alınan bu açıklanan kararda bakıldığında en azından İsrail'in soykırımla yargılanmaya devam edeceği açıklaması çok önemli. Özellikle diğer taraftan tabii ki bakıldığında soykırım sözleşmesinin ikinci maddesine uyması gerektiğini ve onun da aslında İsrail'in de imza atan 153 arasında yer aldığında belirtmek istiyorum ki imzasız bulunmasına rağmen bu sözleşmede ikinci maddesinde uymayacağını ileriki süreçte de net bir şekilde göreceğiz. Ama burada sabahın erken saatlerinde görmüş olduğunuz gibi çok sayıda Filistin bayraklarıyla beraber Filistin'e desteklerini vermeye devam ediyor. Diğer taraftan sadece buradaki adalet
entiteiten in gang kunnen gaan. De weg naar vrede vereist het stoppen van de aanvallen en de bezetting van Palestina. From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
Dit is geen hoop. Het is een eis. Een eis van vrijheid en rechtvaardigheid voor het Palestijnse volk. Samen met Zuid-Afrika en allen die geloven in gerechtigheid zullen we strijden totdat deze eis werkelijkheid wordt. Laat deze boodschap van Palestina als een orkaan over de hele wereld razen. From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Palestine will be free.
De laatste oproep, lieve mensen. Laten we deze zaak niet beperken tot Gaza. Deze zaak is niet een zaak die is aangegaan tussen Israël, oftewel de terroristische staat Israël en Gaza. Maar dit is een zaak van Israël of de bezetter en Palestina en bezette gebieden. Dit is een zaak van de terroristische staat Israël, onderdrukker en de mensheid. Ik wens jullie allemaal een fijne dag. Dank jullie wel. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
We will never let you die!
We will never let you die!
We will never let you die!
We will never let you die!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Our next speech is from Palestinian activist and international law expert.
Bugün burada
I want to start with saying the existence of the Israeli colonial state, the Zionist state, is illegal in the first place. We as the Palestinians, we can teach everyone about equality, justice and peace. We can tell you about our experience from the 48 and the ethnic cleansing. We can talk about the 67. We can talk about the 80s. We can talk about the 90s. We can talk about Sabra and Shatila. We also can talk about the ethnic cleansing that took place more than 70 years ago in Deir Yassin. Where was the international law when all of this happened?
Nowhere!
We don't.
Special guest here from the European Palestinian Council for Political Relationship, Ahmed Farasini.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, goedemiddag. And so, yeah, ik ben Ahmed Farasini from the European Palestinian Council for Political Relations. We are based in Brussels. Yes, today I wanted to start from Palestine. As you know, maybe in Israeli army there is a unit which working only on a psychological attack, moral and psychological attack against Palestinians, and to let the Israeli army to act with impunity. This unit is working since decades against Palestinians to show them that the Israeli army could do anything that they can, any crimes, and with impunity. So Palestinians hoped with the court here that maybe all the world will listen to them and will have some justice. Actually, moreover, anyway, so we will use what happens today or what happened as a tool it will be not a goal. It was a goal for us, for Palestinians, to arrive here and to let you know about what happens there. But since today, it will be like a tool that we will use it to maybe to change some point of view, some positions. Actually, we are working in Europe, and we will try to work with European countries, governments, politicians, political parties to change their positions based on this decision of today. Yes, we hope to send like a hope to Palestinians in Gaza with a decision that to stop ceasefire now. We couldn't get it today, but we hope that we will get it one day as soon as possible. So,
Free Palestina! Free Palestina!
Anyway, to let you know that we are sure that Palestinians will not stop with you, with your power also. We will not stop till the independence of Palestine, the return of refugees, and to free all prisoners. Actually, from prisoners who are alive, and also that we have corpses, body. So we have kidnapped bodies, Palestinian bodies in the Israeli prisoners. You should know about it. In Arabic, I will say fast. في المجلس الأوروبي الفلسطيني للعلاقات السياسية في بروكسل نؤكد على أهمية هذه المحكمة، وإن لم يصدر اليوم قرار بوقف مباشر لإطلاق النار، إلا أن هناك العديد من الإيجابيات، الأمور الإيجابية التي حصلنا عليها اليوم. اعتماد المحكمة لكل التقارير الدولية والمنظمات وبناء عليها هذه القضية هو شيء إيجابي بالنسبة لنا. نعم، لم يكن وقف إطلاق النار المباشر أو الطلب المباشر لوقف إطلاق النار، لكن هناك العديد من الأشياء لم نكن ننتظر اليوم، أو لم يكن منتظرا أصلا حسب الأصول بأن تخرج المحكمة بحكم بأن ما يجري هو إبادة جماعية، ولكننا أصبحنا أكثر مطمئنين على مستقبل القضية بعد اليوم وبعد التصويت الذي جرى. سنستخدم هذه المحكمة في مواجهة كل الحكومات التي إما إن كانت مترددة بإدانة جرائم الحرب ودعم الفلسطينيين والمطالبة بالحقوق والعدالة للفلسطينيين. سنستخدم كل مخرجات هذه المحكمة أيضا لمواجهة المشاركين في جرائم الحرب ضد الفلسطينيين، أولئك من الشخصيات الأوروبية التي ذهبت إلى حدود غزة وأعلنت دعمها لدولة الاحتلال ودعمها لجرائم الحرب، أولئك كما هي فوندر لاين وغيرها من المسؤولين الأوروبيين الذين أبدوا تأييدا واضحا لجرائم الحرب. سنعود ونواجههم بمخرجات هذه المحكمة، وربما سنعمل يوما ما على محاكمتهم كشركاء في الجرائم. فلا تقلقوا، بقوتكم معنا. شكرا لجنوب أفريقيا، شكرا لكم جميعا. شكرا جزيلا.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free
Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
5, 6, 7, 8!
Israel is to the state!
Israel is terror state!
Israel is to the state!
Israel is terror state!
Viva, viva Palestina!
Viva, viva Palestina!
As we turn our gaze and our eyes today to the International Court of Justice, we are reminded that we are at the heart of the empire that works only to protect itself. We are not expecting justice to come from within these colonial walls. We are not expecting it to come from partners of previous genocides and colonialism all over the world. I would like to just remind the world how easy it is for them to choose to sanction countries just because of their basis of not falling under democratic law. How easy it is for them to stop any military embargo on all of those countries, and yet now, after a genocide has been occurring for more than 110 days, not even a military embargo is put into state. Not even a ceasefire is put into state. Not even trying to force Egypt to open the border to Gaza to let the humanitarian aid. Let us remind ourselves that Israel is not the only one who is engaging in this genocide. The country where we live right now is continuing to export military aid to Israel, to try to send F-35 pieces to continue their genocidal mission in Gaza. I would like to remind everyone that the minimum that we can do is also support the free people of Yemen into their call for justice, into trying to stop by means that seem possible on a daily basis to block army, weapons, and goods to arrive to Israel in order to continue their genocide. And instead, what does the world do? They punish Yemen. So let us not look at this day of justice as in we're going to get it from here. But this is a historical moment, and South Africa did a tremendous job. However, the fact that we couldn't even get a ceasefire is extremely disappointing. And we should always continue to face the same structures of violence in order to stop Holland, the EU, the US, the UK into supporting Israel and continuing the genocide on Gaza. We need to continue to organize, to talk to our representatives in these countries, to try to push for a military embargo. And when this decision will be final, we will bring you all to the ICC. You will be criminals of war. You will all be responsible for having taken part in the murdering of people in Gaza and in all over the territories. Free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Palestine will never die!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Netanyahu, you will see!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
Gaza, Gaza will be free!
1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
Occupation no more!
من المية للمية!
من المية للمية!
عشان خاطرك يا ست الكل والله. من المية للمية!
من المية للمية!
فلسطين عربية!
فلسطين عربية!
فلسطين عربية واحنا مش إرهابية واحنا مش إرهابية إسلام ومسيحية إسلام ومسيحية واحنا شعب الحرية وحرية حرية حرية حرية حرية حرية حرية حرية حرية لفلسطين الحرية لفلسطين الحرية لفلسطين الحرية لفلسطين الحرية لغزتنا الحرية لغزتنا الحرية.
إسرائيل كادت أن تنهي فلسطين وقطاع غزة، فأصبح العالم كله فلسطين. أصبح العالم كله فلسطين. اليوم واقفين احنا هون بنطالب بحقوقنا، ولكن بإذن الله سيرحلون عن أراضينا، سيرحلون عن فلسطين اليوم وغدا. وفري فري بالستينا، فري فري بالستينا، فري فري غزة، فري فري غزة. نتنياهو you will see. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. إسرائيل كريمينال. إسرائيل كريمينال. اليوم الجميع يجتمعون في المحاكم الدولية وغزة تبات 110 يوم، 110 أيام، وغزة كل يوم يموتون من الجوع، يموتون من الحياة، يتكلمون بالإنسانية. واليوم المحكمة تقول انتظروا شهر. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. Stop genocide. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. Hey, oh. Hey, oh. Hey, oh. Hey, oh. Hey, oh. Palestine, I love you. Palestine, I love you. South Africa, thank you. South Africa, thank you. South Africa, thank you. بالروح بالدم نفديك يا غزة. بالروح بالدم نفديك يا غزة. بالروح بالدم نفديك يا غزة. بالروح بالدم. مفيش مصر. مفيش مصر. بالروح بالدم. يوم سبت اثبات. يوم سبت اثبات. اجوا الخواجات. اجوا الخواجات. اخذوا حارتنا. واخذوا حارتنا. كسروا لعبتنا. كسروا لعبتنا. طب نسكت ليش؟ طب نسكت ليش؟ لقمة العيش. لقمة العيش. يلعن ابوها. ويلعن ابوها. وعلي جابوها. وعلي جابوها. فلسطينية. إرهابية هم إرهابية هم إرهابية هم إرهابية وإحنا الحرية وإحنا الحرية وإحنا الحرية Free Palestine Free Palestine Free Palestine Free Palestine لا لا لا Free Palestine Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide From the river to the sea From the river to the sea Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free One solution One solution Revolution لسه برضه One solution One solution Revolution لسه شوية One solution One solution Revolution Revolution Revolution Intifada Intifada Intifada Intifada Intifada From the river to the sea From the river to the sea From the river to the sea From the river to the sea Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Gaza Gaza don't you cry Gaza Gaza don't you cry Gaza Gaza don't you cry Gaza Gaza don't you cry Palestine will never die Palestine will never die Palestine will never die Palestine will never die Palestine will never die Palestine will never die Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Stop genocide Netanyahu you will see Netanyahu you will see Netanyahu you will see Netanyahu you will see Netanyahu you will see Netanyahu you will see Gaza Gaza will be free Gaza Gaza will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free Palestine will be free From the river to the sea From the river to the sea
أبو عبيدة يا أسد الأمة أبو عبيدة يا أسد الأمة
Free Palestine Free Palestine Free Palestine Viva Palestina Viva Palestina Up liberation down occupation Up liberation Up liberation Up liberation Up فين الصوت يا اخوان Up liberation Up liberation Down occupation Down occupation Down occupation Up liberation Up liberation Down occupation Down occupation Free Palestine Free Palestine Viva Palestina Viva Palestina Viva Palestina Gaza don't you cry Palestine will never die From the river to the sea Palestine will be free 1, 2, 3, 4 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Occupation no more. Occupation no more. 5 6 7 8. 5 6 7 8. Israel is terrorist state. Israel is a fascist state. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Boycott Israel. Netanyahu criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Israel terrorist. Israel terrorist. Israel terrorist. Netanyahu terrorist. Netanyahu terrorist. يلا تاني. من المية للمية. هقلب انجليزي لو ما على تصل. هقلب انجليزي والله. من المية للمية. لسه برضه. من المية للمية. أعلى سنة صغيرة. من المية للمية. فلسطين عربية. فلسطين عربية. واحنا مش إرهابية. احنا شعب الحرية. إسلام ومسيحية. حرية. لفلسطين الحرية. لغزتنا الحرية. فري بالستاين. زهقتوا مني معلش. تاني. فري بالستاين. فري بالستاين. boycott Israel. boycott Israel. Israel criminal. Netanyahu criminal. Biden criminal. EU shame on you. EU shame on you. EU shame on you. EU shame on you. EU shame on you. EU shame on you. Stop genocide. Stop. Viva. Free. Gaza, don't you cry. Gaza, don't you cry. Palestine will never die. Palestine will never die. Israel terrorist. Netanyahu, you will see. Palestine will be free. Gaza will be free. Gaza will be free. Gaza will be free. Israel criminal. Free Palestine.
Our next speech will be by Fiona from BDS.
Less than 2 weeks ago, we were here to support South Africa against Israel at the ICJ. It was an historic day. It was the first time in 75 years of settler colonialism, apartheid, and genocidal war, and apartheid was exposed to the world for its brutality. And today, it's an historic day today as well, because it's a legal defeat for Israel. The International Court of Justice rules that Israel is possibly committing genocide against 2.3 million Palestinians in the occupied and besieged Gaza Strip, and ordered Israel to stop any genocidal acts. While the court fell short of explicitly ordering an immediate and permanent ceasefire to stop the genocide, states must now be pressured to fulfill their legal obligation to actually stop the genocide. Third states must end complicity and prevent genocide by, at the very least, ceasing arms transfers to Israel, as well as all military funding and diplomatic cover of its genocidal aggression on Palestinians in Gaza. But Palestinians know very well that international law is not only the one to bring justice and liberation. Human agency does. We welcome this decisive legal victory against Israel and the colonial West that have harmed, funded, and enabled genocide. We salute South Africa for its moral leadership, but we mostly and for sure call for intensifying grassroots and civil society pressure through mass global mobilization, peaceful disruption of business as usual to hold states, corporations and institutions accountable for complicity in Israel's 75-year-old regime of settler colonialism, apartheid and military occupation. There is no S sanction without boycott and divestments. So let's escalate the pressure to bring freedom, justice and dignity for Palestinians. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Boycott Israel! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Before we go to our next speech, I want to tell you that South Africa delegation want to thank you all for being here today. We want to thank you for being here, for your energy, for everything you have done. And I want to share with you that the march at 4 o'clock is cancelled. We will continue with our speech. We will continue with our speech until 4, and then it's over. There will be no march at 4. Thank you all. And now to move to our next speech, a brief message from Gaza.
السلام عليكم. جينا اليوم لمحكمة العدل الدولية بخصوص الدعوة المقدمة من جنوب أفريقيا ضد إسرائيل. للأسف إحنا كنا مطالبنا كوني فلسطيني من قطاع غزة وبعيش في بلجيكا في مدينة جنت. أبسط مطلب كان عندنا اليوم وقف إطلاق النار ووقف العدوان والإبادة الجماعية على أهلنا في قطاع غزة وفلسطين. وقف قتل الأطفال والنساء وهدم المساجد والكنائس في قطاع غزة. كنا بننتظر من محكمة العدل الدولية اليوم تاخذ القرار إيجابي باتجاه القضية الفلسطينية. للأسف مهلة شهر لإسرائيل تقدم الأدلة، شهر كافي على إيمان قطاع غزة بالكامل. اليوم أكثر من 80% من قطاع غزة تم مسحه عن الوجود، باقي أقل من 20%. إحنا اليوم كنا بنتمنى إنه يوقف إطلاق النار عن قطاع غزة. إحنا شفنا الشهداء في قطاع غزة، الأطفال عايشين بموتوا بالبطيء، فيش علاج، فيش أدوية، مش قادرين نمرق كمية مي لقطاع غزة، والمعدات اللي بتمرق بسيطة جدا جدا جدا لا تكفي. العلف اكل الدواب صاروا يعملوه خبز وياكلوه في قطاع غزة، مش قادرين نمرق اشي لاهلنا في فلسطين وفي قطاع غزة. وهذا ابسط مطلب اليوم كنا بنتمناه من محكمة العدل الدولية، وقف اطلاق النار، تمريق المواد الغذائية والطبية لقطاع غزة، وقف اطلاق النار، وقف هدم الكنائس والمساجد في قطاع غزة، وقف قتل الاطفال، وقف اجتياح المستشفيات في فلسطين وفي قطاع غزة. المستشفيات في قطاع غزة أبيدت بالكامل، المستوصفات العيادات الطبية أبيدت، لا يوجد إسعافات. هذا أقل مطلب إلنا كفلسطينيين، وقف إطلاق النار. Free free Palestine! Free free Palestine! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Our next speaker will be Annika from Rotterdam.
Hallo, lieve vrienden, kameraden. Het is vandaag een historische dag. Een eerste stap op weg naar menselijkheid. Wij danken onze vrienden uit Zuid-Afrika die zo dapper waren om Israël aan te klagen. Op 11 januari, voor de ogen van de hele wereld, is eindelijk Israël aangeklaagd. En alle wandaden heel duidelijk door de advocaten van Zuid-Afrika naar voren gebracht. Dankjewel Zuid-Afrika, het land van Nelson Mandela. Vandaag is een historische dag. Het Hof heeft vrijwel alle aanklachten van Zuid-Afrika overgenomen. Ik ben heel zenuwachtig geweest. Ik had dit nooit durven dromen, maar het Hof heeft gesproken. En het Hof heeft gezegd... dat Israël een genocide moet voorkomen. Maar het is natuurlijk al lang een genocide. En dat moet stoppen. Niet over een maand, maar nu. Nu. Stop. En Israël gaat gewoon door. En nu is de wereld aan zet. Want de wereld die kan niet langer toekijken. Nu het Hof zo duidelijk heeft gemaakt dat er eindelijk al een genocide aan de gang is. De wereld met de Verenigde Staten en Nederland die het mogelijk hebben gemaakt en verantwoordelijk ook zijn voor alle wandaden van Israël. En dat moet afgelopen zijn. Dus nu moet de wereld spreken. En nu moet de wereld een onmiddellijke stop, staakt het vuren eisen en gaan werken aan een oplossing voor de Palestijnen. Ik ben vandaag blij dat ik hier met jullie mag staan en dit samen met jullie mag meemaken. Want ik ben in mijn hart al lang een Palestijn met jullie. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
En ik zal blijven vechten tot mijn graf. dat het zover komt. En ik hoop dat ik het mee kan maken dat Palestina vrij zal zijn. En in elk geval mijn kinderen en mijn kleinkinderen. En vooral ook al die kinderen in Palestina. En dat het vandaag stopt. Dus wij gaan door met de strijd.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Our next speech will be by Evelyn from Student for Palestine.
Okay, at this moment I'm standing here, but to be honest, there's nothing much more to say. Everything has been said. The Netherlands could have known that if they had opened social media or watched the live streams, but instead I walk through the stations and I see the media and everything says something else than Palestine. Media, not only have you been making the stories different, therefore supporting a genocide, no, also now it has become clear that a genocide is going on, that Palestine is occupied by a settler colonial regime under apartheid. Now that has become clear, we're not gonna cover anything. Well, that's nothing. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! And we are all Palestinians! Exactly, except for Mark Rutte. Because here we go further. The Netherlands has been sending for a while now parts of the F-35 planes that bombed Gaza. There was a court against it. It ruled in favor of the occupation. You can continue. It got taken higher. Now we're awaiting the outcome of this court case. Then it leaks. There's more in it. Then it leaks that the Dutch state has posed a question. What can we say to make it seem like the Israeli occupation is not committing any war crimes? Can we have it more black on white that this country is happily serving a genocide? Meanwhile, it hosts the ICJ, it hosts the ICC,